One of the most common causes for a complex in a child is lack of communication. Now, what do I mean by this? It doesn't mean complete absence of communication. What I exactly mean is lack of quality communication. Now, there are a few possible scenarios over here. Possibility number one, when the child needs your presence, you are not there at all, and hence there is no communication. You're traveling too much, or you're so busy in activities, you want to talk, the child is not available, the child wants to talk, you are not available. I recently saw a movie called Traffic, and there a girl has a critical heart condition. She wants to talk to the father, but the father is always busy in shooting his films. When the child wants to talk to the parent, because the greatest source of strength in the life of a child is the parent, and the parent says, I am busy, I don't have time for you, communication is not there, it deeply impacts the self-belief of the child. It therefore creates a complex in the child. My request to all parents in the world, the only way to prove to your child that they are important to you is to be there when they need you. And when you are there, ensure communication is on. Another scenario which is lack of communication is, you are there at home, the child is there at home, but you are preoccupied by something. Maybe you have to fill a tender. Maybe you have to answer a few important mails. Maybe you are telling the child, I will talk to you tomorrow, and this has already happened a few times. What the child understands is, I am not a priority. The child can see, it cannot structure the statement so clearly, but subconsciously it understands, whatever is a priority in my father or mother's life, they do find time for that. If a friend is important, they do go for that social function. So if something is important, they find time. If a client is important, they do talk to the client. Whether it is 11 o'clock in the night or 6 o'clock in the morning. Because the parent finds the client really important. If a relative is important and they come home, they get time. And the child finds, even if my parents are around, if I need time, the parents say, I'll talk to you later. Lack of communication makes the child feel, I am not important. And in this world, if I am not important for my parents who have given me birth, for whom will I be important? The child goes through a complex. The third scenario, the child has done a mistake, or the child has behaved in a way the parents don't want the child to behave. And the parents play something that we call as the aloof drama. If the child asks, Mama, are you upset? The mother might say, no. But if the child asks, Mama, what should I do? Because earlier the child did not listen or did not comply to what the mother had said, the mother just might say, you know what to do, right? Last time I told you, but you did what you think is right. So please go ahead, don't ask me. You are smart enough, you are intelligent enough. Now she is not saying it with conviction. In fact, she is saying it so that she can hurt the child. So that the child complies with whatever the mother says. In a very indirect way, it is meaning to say, if you don't listen to what I have to say, I am going to withdraw myself from your lives. I will not contribute in your life at all. And again, it makes the child feel, see, I am not good enough. Even my mother won't give me suggestion. That means I am alone. That means I am scared. That means I am insecure. That means I am vulnerable. And the child develops a complex. What is the way out? Whatever be the scenario, practice communication. You don't like something, continue to communicate. There was a mistake, continue to communicate. You feel that they are not exposed enough and they are thinking something which is not the way to think, continue to communicate. When you communicate, today or tomorrow, they will come back on track. When they come back on track, their self-belief will still be intact.